I want to hear what you have to say about what Trump just said.
Yeah, I'm not interested in reparations for this. I think there are procedures in place if someone feels like they were improperly dealt with in the criminal justice system. You can sue, and go through the civil system. But I don't think this is a policy that should be pursued. I mean, look, the truth is, a lot of these people, and some committed violent acts and some didn't, but they all got pardoned. So they all already got something very valuable.
Right. Freedom.
I don't know who's really asking for this.
There's talk about that. We have a lot of people talk about it. A lot of the people that are in government now talk about it because a lot of the people in government really like that group of people. They were patriots as far as I was concerned. I talk about them a lot. They were treated very unfairly.
Oh boy. Buckle up, folks, because apparently we're living in the upside down. So Scott Jennings, the guy who usually keeps it is out here actually making sense for once. He's slamming the idea of reparations for once. He's slamming the idea of reparations for the January 6th rioters. And honestly, thank God someone remembered what planet we're on. Because yeah, that's right. Some folks are out here seriously suggesting that the Capitol rioters, the people who played capture the flag with democracy, deserve a little compensation. A check, maybe a gift card, a warm thank you for their service in domestic disruption. Like, huh? Imagine breaking into the Capitol in full cosplay mode, smearing the walls, chanting about hanging people, and then turning around like, hey, where's my reparation money? I sprained my ankle on Nancy Pelosi's desk. Oh, yes, because clearly the victims here are the ones who brought zip ties and bear spray to a constitutional crisis. Scott Jennings is out here trying to remind us that, I don't know, maybe rewarding insurrectionists sends the wrong message. Shocker, right? He says it undermines law and order, which I guess is political speak for this is straight up bananas. And honestly, we've got enough going on. Poverty's rising, education's struggling, the economy's like a Jenga tower with 3 pieces left. And we're talking about compensating people for trying to overthrow the government. Look, I never thought I'd say this, but on this one, Scott Jennings might just be the voice of reason in a room full of people sniffing glue. So yeah, let's call this what it is. Terrible idea wrapped in patriot cosplay. Reparations for rioters. That's a no from me. Hit the comments. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure common sense just left the building.
There's one bit of information I just got. I guess it's vaguely on the subject of government spending or giving money to people, including, in this case, January 6th rioters. I guess Donald Trump just did an interview, the president just did an interview on Newsmax where he was asked about the possibility of reparations for people involved with January 6th. Listen.
Is there any talk of, because they lost opportunity, they lost income, any kind of compensation fund? Well, there's talk about that. We have a lot of people talk about it. A lot of the people that are in government now talk about it because a lot of the people in government really like that group of people. They were patriots as far as I was concerned. I talk about them a lot. They were treated very unfairly.
Van, there's a lot of talk about that.
Patriots.
My head is about to fly off my shoulders and flip around the room and blow up on the set because you're talking about people who beat up cops. My father was a cop in the military. My favorite uncle, Milton, just retired from Memphis City Police Force. I'm a law enforcement kid. I can put up with a lot of stuff. Beating up cops is not one of them, period. And so you're now saying that these are patriots who deserve reparations. The cops that got beat up might deserve reparations. The lawmakers who got scared half to death might deserve reparations. I don't know. African Americans have been mistreated for 40 years, might at least get a study on reparations. But this is an insult to anybody who believes in law and order in this country.
I want to talk to the black folks who voted for Donald Trump and they were mad because Kamala Harris said she wouldn't do reparations or Joe Biden said, this is your president. Reparations for January 6th rioters.
Scott,
There's a lot of talk going around. Somebody hold my head because it's about to levitate off my shoulders, do a couple laps around the studio and explode into confetti. Why? Because apparently the new hot take is that the folks who beat up cops on January 6th are, wait for it, patriots who deserve reparations. Oh yes, you heard that right, reparations. For the Capitol rioters, because nothing says love of country like assaulting law enforcement while wearing a bald eagle hoodie and yelling about civil war. Now let me just pause and say, my dad was a cop in the military. My uncle Milton just retired from the Memphis City Police. I'm basically law enforcement by osmosis. I can let a lot of nonsense slide, folks. But beating up cops? That's where I draw the line. That's not patriotism. That's WrestleMania meets delusion. And now we're calling them the victims? The people who smashed windows and played hide and seek with elected officials? Oh, sure, let's cut them a check. Meanwhile, the actual victims, the police officers who were punched, pepper sprayed and crushed in doorways, yeah, maybe they deserve something? Just a thought. And here's another wild idea. Maybe lawmakers who feared for their lives could use some hazard pay. I mean, one second they're debating tax policy, next second they're barricading doors with office furniture. Sounds like a hostile work environment to me. No, instead, we've decided the real injustice here is that the rioters didn't get enough love, attention, and Venmo transfers. I mean, move over. 400 years of African American oppression. We've got MAGA warriors who got arrested for doing crimes on live TV. Priorities, right? And to my black brothers and sisters who voted for Trump and got mad when Kamala Harris or Joe Biden hesitated on actual reparations for descendants of slavery. Guess what? This is your prizes. This is your president. He couldn't get a study on reparations for black folks. But hey, he's out here flirting with the idea for people who tried to overthrow the government in ski masks. Welcome to America, where accountability is optional, but white-collar cosplay insurrection might just land you a government payout. Stay tuned next week. We're probably handing out medals.
You've been really clear on your disavowal of what happened on January 6th. I want to hear what you have to say about what Trump just said.
Yeah, I'm not interested in reparations for this. I mean, I think there are procedures in place if someone feels like they were improperly dealt with in the criminal justice system. You can sue, and go through the civil system. But I don't think this is a policy that should be pursued. I mean, look, the truth is, a lot of these people, and some committed violent acts and some didn't, but they all got pardoned. So they all already got something very valuable.
Right.
Freedom.
I don't know who's really asking for this. I don't think.
I think it was Greg Kelly.
I don't think. I don't think Republicans, John, on Capitol Hill want to focus on this. I mean, Ashley raised some good points about the cost of living. You raised good points about access to affordable housing, what goods have gone down, what goods have not gone down. We have a housing shortage. That is something I think the administration could really, really focus on, particularly for younger people. We can focus a little bit more on working with businesses, manufacturers to figure out how do you lower costs writ large. Maybe you incentivize them through some type of tax mechanisms. These are the things we should be focused on, John. I'm not necessarily certain that this is it.
I'm not sure any of those words were in the answer that the president just gave Greg Kelly right
Well,
there.
I just gave him a
It was a very
platter.
Trumpian answer, I should say. He said, well, there's talk about it. There's talk about it. A lot of people in the government
I didn't hear a
now.
commitment to it.
No.
I mean, he got asked a question, and his MO is to sometimes indulge the question, muse a little bit about it. I didn't hear anything definitive there, and my hope would be that
But there's a much different way to answer that question, which would be
No. No.
Ah, yes, Donald J. Trump, a man who descended an escalator one day and somehow never stopped falling upward. If American politics were a sitcom, Trump would be the breakout character that producers never meant to keep, but the ratings were just too good. He's the political equivalent of a fast food menu item you know is bad for you, but order anyway. Deep fried in chaos, dipped in ego, and served with a side of unverified. Many people are saying, let's talk about his latest brain spark. Reparations for the January 6 rioters? That's right. In a country where people are still arguing about reparations for slavery, Trump is out here looking to cut checks for people who stream themselves committing felonies in Viking helmets. Because if there's one thing Trump knows how to do, it's reward loyalty, especially when it's wrapped in an American flag cape and screaming 1776. Now, in classic Trump fashion, he didn't exactly say he supports reparations. No. Ow! That would involve actual commitment. Instead, he slipped into his signature rhetorical soft shoe. There's talk about it. A lot of people are saying, This man could start a fire and blame it on the whispers in the wind. It's all part of the Trumpian jetty mind trick. Say just enough to stoke the chaos, then retreat behind a wall of plausible deniability and Diet Coke cans. Enter Scott Jennings, who appeared like the one sober uncle at a family reunion gone off the rails. You can almost hear the exhaustion in his voice as he practically begged the conversation to return to reality. What? He says, we already have a system for people who think they were mistreated. It's called suing people. And by the way, most of these folks already got pardoned. What else do you want? Fruit basket. Scott out here trying to talk about affordable housing and the price of eggs while the rest of the GOP debates whether sedition comes with dental. And what about Trump's leadership style? Well, imagine if a fortune cookie got possessed by a wrestling promo and handed the nuclear codes. That's the energy! He governs like a guy who accidentally wandered into the Oval Office thinking it was a high-stakes poker game and just decided to bluff his way through the next 4 years. He's a master of vibes over verb. Policy? Who needs it when you've got catchphrases? Make America Great Again has more sequels than the Fast and Furious franchise, and somehow they keep getting less realistic. And now, after multiple indictments, impeachments, and at least one insurrection cosplay convention, he's still the GOP's frontrunner. Because why not? At this point, Trump's campaign slogan might as well be Donald Trump. His normal wasn't working anyway. So here's the final review. 4 out of 5 burning dumpsters. 1 star deducted for making the term presidential mean absolutely nothing. But bonus points for showmanship, absurdity, and turning American politics into a 24/7 reality show where the prize is constitutional collapse. Anyway, let me know what you think. Like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. It helps us, it helps the mission, and it helps bring honest conversation to the table.